Hello everyone, welcome to Peaceful Heart Gardening. I'm Izabela, and today I would like to share with you how I grew 5 kinds of kale for my family and the results of how they did, which ones were our favorite, different things to consider while growing them, and to show you how they look like, how the actual name on the package turns out as a plant. So let's take a look. So this bed is clean for the winter. This one has some perennial garlic growing in it, garlic chives, and some leeks. The nasturtiums for now, they can stay. And there is new crops of a kale coming up from this plant that's seeded this summer. And here's some kale, so this will stay like this. We are waiting for the frost before we harvest our carrots because this gives them more sweetness. And we have some parsnips here, so this is staying for now. Leeks are staying. The nasturtiums for now will stay because there's still a bunch of bees who will want to eat. As you can see on the cosmos here, lots of bees. Oh, where'd you guys all go? Oh. And here's our overwintering bed of kale. That's how it's doing right now. It's been feeding us all summer. It's lovely. I'll pick some more kale. Oh, there's a strawberry. Let me see if I can get a good shot. A little treat for me for all that work. First off, let's take a look at this curly Scarlet kale. The seeds were from Mr. Fothergill's cold-tolerant, nutritious leaves, curly Scarlet. And here's how the curly Scarlet grew for me. It is not as purple as the picture shows, but the winter hasn't come yet, and I believe that once it gets colder, the color will intensify because those leaves were more green in the warmer months, and they just recently started to turn this beautiful color. Here is the red Russian kale from Mackenzie Seeds. It's an heirloom variety, which means that I'm gonna leave it in the ground. It's gonna give me seeds, and I'm hoping it will just grow continuously year after year. So far, one of our favorites, just absolutely delicious, soft. This is, I think, a regular kale I got in here, but the leaves are really soft and crunchy and like buttery almost in taste. So it can go into soups, into salads. Could be eaten raw very well. I can see that. We don't normally eat our kale raw. We like it steamed the most, but it could be if you like salads. And here are the seeds of change, the seeds of change, certified organic Lacinato kale. So because they are certified organic, they're also going to be heirloom, and I'm also hoping to get seeds for the next year from overwintering plants. And this is how the Lacinato bunch looks like. First I thought there were two kinds, but then I think I only bought one, or maybe I lost another package, because they kind of look different. One looks more green, another one looks more blue, but this is one of our favorite, and the bugs love this. So the earwigs, the slugs, everybody this was their first dibs, was the Lacinato. So we haven't really gotten a chance to eat it until now. It still has holes, but before it was just all eaten up by bugs, so I didn't really get to enjoy it. But that's okay, because the season isn't over, and we're gonna get more kale in the cold. The kale actually likes cold in Canada, so after the summer, in the fall and in the early spring is where I get the most kale. And another kind, number 4, is the kale from West Coast Seeds, Rainbow Lacinato. So it is Lacinato, but it doesn't have the same shape of leaves as the Dinosaur. It's like more like a typical curly kale. So right now it has a little bit of a vein, purple vein, but I'm hoping in the fall it will change. I'll show you a big plant that I have growing up front and that we haven't picked from. That one looks pretty similar to this. And then number 5 is the classic regular kale. I don't know what it was called scientifically, because I got the seeds for this plant 7 years ago, and it's been reseeding and growing in my garden every year. So we love that one, and that was why we decided to purchase more kale this year and see if we can have a kale galore. And so far it's working pretty good. Here's my giant rainbow that I'm growing up front and keeping it more for a decoration, but I'm sure it will be eaten when the snow comes, or maybe when the frost comes. So those leaves are huge and beautiful, and it does have like slightly different color in the middle. So very pretty ornamental kale, and it got spared. It's not as eaten as some other ones. So here are the lower leaves that are a little bit more bunched on. But now the bugs are gone, and the kale will grow to its full glory. So this is my kale results that I wanted to share with you. And in review, if I were to choose which one I would choose, it would be a really tough choice, because I like them all for different things. We eat a lot of kale, me and my husband especially. We love steaming kale and eating it with a little bit of rice vinegar. So it's like a daily thing that we enjoy, and I would say we can't really have too much kale in the garden. So all of them are really enjoyable. So I could say which kind would be the best for what from my experience. So for steaming and just eating in general, like on a daily basis, I would say my favorite would be this Lacinato kale and the red Russian. For kale chips, the regular kale is absolutely amazing, and for soups and stews and such, the red Scarlet for soups and stews, something that's cooked a little bit longer because it is tougher, and you probably need to chop it up. So if you're making a chickpea curry or chickpea soup, roasted cauliflower soup, any sort of soup like that, this goes really well. And the rainbow kale is, I'm not really sure what the difference is. It is, I would say, a little bit milder than the red Scarlet, but not as mild as the red Russian. So there you have it, depending what you want to do with it. For raw eating, red Russian for sure, and the regular. I think Lacinato that would be tough to eat. It is very delicious and mild tasting. So if you have a picky eater at home, a child that's not like really into kale, they might enjoy Lacinato. My daughter's been digging into kale more since we have the Lacinato. She likes the color and a different shape of a leaf that's not like when you touch it, it doesn't have that spiky sort of a texture. It's actually like rubbery. So that makes it very enjoyable for the palate when you eat it. I hope this review helped you figure out what type of kale you would like to grow, maybe all of them. There might be more kale kinds that I will look into next year. And so far, after 1 year of growing it, I would do it again. I would plant it and seed it and plant it even for the year. But I am hoping this will be a multi-year perennial plant for me in the garden. That was the original intention behind planting this plant, to actually like have it self-seed and not have to do the seedlings, transplanting and all that work. But it is worth it, at least in Ontario, and if you live in Southern Ontario. And the beauty of it is that now in October, all the other plants are finished. Our tomatoes, our cucumbers are gone. All the summery plants are gone, and we are getting kale, and we will be getting it long into the winter. And then if you leave the plants in the ground over winter, even here in Southern Ontario, -30 winters, they do come back. So first thing March, late February, March, the green leaves poke through the snow, and it's just absolutely delicious. So the kale is one of those plants that also taste changes depending on the season. And in the winter time and in the springtime, in the late fall, that's when it's the most tasty, because the cold softens up the fibers of the leaves, and the sugars are more flavorful. So do try it. Even though the cabbage butterfly may completely eat them up in the summer, leave it and see, because a lot of those plants it looked like they're not going to make it. And I just thought, well, I'll just keep it. And sure enough, once all the larvae hatched and they moved on with their life to the next stage, now we have lots of kale. So it's possible to grow kale with a very peaceful heart and enjoy the beautiful butterflies as well. Thank you so much for watching.